Well, thank you for having us here. I want to start off by telling you a little bit about myself. So I was born in China in a small town called Changshu. It's about 2 hours away from Shanghai. And just a couple of years ago, I got the opportunity to bring my family to the town. And here's a picture of my family in front of the house that I grew up in. And that front door of the house, when I grew up, was never locked. We didn't have a need to lock that door because we knew all the neighbors, we knew the kids, we knew the parents, and we certainly knew when a stranger came to town. But that all changed in 1980 when my parents decided to immigrate to the US, and we landed in New Jersey. Living in New Jersey was a little bit different. You know, we started to lock our doors, and not because there were a lot of criminals, but just because we didn't really know many of our neighbors. So it was just really the sensible thing to do to lock that front door. How many of you guys lock your front doors when you leave? I mean, pretty much everybody. It's just a sensible thing to do. Today, I want to talk to you about a different front door. And that front door is the front door to our connected homes. You see, all the traffic to our connected homes goes through that little Wi-Fi router that we have in there. So that Wi-Fi router is really the front door to your connected homes. And in that connected home environment, we're only one IP address away from pretty much everybody in the world. And there are some nice people out there that are neighbors, but we also know that there are some not so very nice people out there. So wouldn't it be the sensible thing to do to lock that front door? And I think you, as cable operators, are at the forefront of that opportunity to be able to provide a service to lock that front door. Now, I want to ask you another question. How many devices do you have that are connected inside your home? I just recently did a count in my home, and to my surprise, I have 15 connected devices. I don't know how I got there. But as you know, the average home now have over 10 connected devices. And that's just growing to over hundreds of devices in the next few years. And with 3 out of 4 devices that are susceptible to hacking, that presents a huge security risk to your connected home. Not only that, but there's also a huge safety risk as well. Do you know that 70% of children as young as 5 years old have accidentally encountered pornography online? That's a huge problem, and we need to do something about putting a better lock on that front door. I want to tell you about what we're doing at Gryphon. We're building a Wi-Fi router. This is our Wi-Fi router. That's the world's first Wi-Fi router to use social collaboration and machine learning to make it super easy to keep your connected home safe. And the simplicity of Gryphon really starts off with having all the security features built inside the Wi-Fi router. And we allow you to easily manage that with an intuitive app. So in essence, your smartphone becomes your smart key to your connected home. I'm going to show you a couple of those features. So one of the most frustrating things about parental control solutions today is that it blocks too many websites. And the reality is that our kids need access to some of these websites for homework. And what we've done here is that we basically make it really easy for the kids to request access through what we call real-time approval. So the kids can request access directly through the website, and as a parent, you get a notification. So as a parent, how do you know that that website is good or not for your child? Well, what we've done is we've incorporated a social collaboration feature called crowd ranking. So what that is we're aggregating the approval ratings for all the parents. So we give you that information to help you make a better decision about that website, whether it's good or bad. So in this case, it's my daughter's requesting Match.com, which is not a good website, so I'm going to deny that access. There you go. And the response is in real time. She knows that I declined the access in real time. The other feature that we want to show today is what we call intelligent intrusion detection. And what we're doing there is we're using machine learning. And I know a lot of people are talking about machine learning for various different things. But it's a really good tool to learn about the different patterns. And it turns out that a lot of these IoT devices do very specific things on the home network. And we use that information basically to be able to learn what's the normal traffic pattern for these IoT devices. And when we detect that something abnormal has happened, we lock it down, and then we let the user know that something has happened on the network. So Arup, our CTO here, is going to try to hack one of the devices. He's a part-time hacker. And you see, you get a notification, and now the device is locked out, and the user knows that something has happened on the network. So what we're doing here with social collaboration and machine learning, all these things are really tools to help us to make something that's really simple to use for the end user. Now, we talked about the problem, and going back to the presentation, we talked about the solution. How do we know that there's awareness out there? How do we know that there's going to be traction out there for the end consumer to want something like this? Well, it's interesting because on today's paper on USA Today, actually it says that 34% of parents worldwide have discovered their child visited an inappropriate website. And we know that as a parent, and if you're a parent out there, as a parent, we're struggling with managing internet activities of our children on almost a daily basis. So there's awareness in the home that we need a better solution. And on a national level, we know that there's been cybersecurity that's dominating the headlines, especially in the recent election. And also, we know that there was an attack last November, I believe, that pretty much took out the whole East Coast. And that was because it was a bunch of IoT devices like your webcams and your DVRs that were hacked and that were doing a denial of service attack on a DNS server. And also, just recently, Congress has called on the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, to do more about bringing awareness to the consumers about the security and privacy risks that all these IoT devices are posing. So what does that mean for us? Well, this growing awareness, I believe, is really relevant to all of us here because we are providing solutions to these consumers. And as this awareness grows, we can take advantage of that to be able to provide better service, to be able to give the end users, your customers, a solution to help them better manage their home networks. And we'd love to talk to you more about the Gryphon platform and how we can use that to help your customers and help you to help monetize these services. Now, going back to the front door analogy, opportunity is knocking. Let's go out there and put a better lock on our front doors. Thank you. Well, thank you for having us here. I want to start off by telling you a little bit about myself. So I was born in China in a small town called Changshu. It's about 2 hours away from Shanghai. And just a couple years ago, I got the opportunity to bring my family to the town. And here's a picture of my family in front of the house that I grew up in. And that front door of the house, when I grew up, was never locked. We didn't have a need to lock that door because we knew all the neighbors, we knew the kids, we knew the parents, and we certainly knew when a stranger came to town. But that all changed in 1980 when my parents decided to immigrate to the US, and we landed in New Jersey.